Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to Saturday Leadership Training with myself, Keith Williams, and our very, very special guests today. Both of them are going to do a fabulous job at leadership today. I'm excited. When we posted this yesterday, I knew we'd maxed out. We maxed out with 15 to 20 minutes to go. So, guys, we do have overflow. It is on. I'm excited. Who's on fire? Just give me a 1 in the chat if you are on fire and you are ready to rock and roll. This is leadership on a Saturday. This sets us up for the week ahead. And I'm so excited. I wonder if Dale's there with us. Dale, can you put a co-host on myself and our very special guest who should have her camera on as well. We've got two great trainers coming on today, but someone who you haven't seen for a little while. She's spent the summer traveling, very busy with her young family, and she's agreed to come on today as it's a Labor Day weekend, holiday weekend in the United States. We had our bank holiday weekend last weekend. We call it a carnival weekend, but we had our late summer holiday weekend last weekend. It's Labor Day weekend for you guys over there in the US. And I can see my beautiful dear friend and wow, the beautiful Brenda Chunga, aka Bitcoin Beauty. She'll tell you her story. For those of you who've never seen her before, maybe you're new to Hyper Nation, maybe you're new to the Hyper family. She has a wonderful story and a great leader. Dale, you can let me co-host myself. I'll do it myself, Dale. It's all right. Let me put the spotlight for everyone. And let me find Brenda and spotlight her at Spotlight. There you are, side by side. There you are. Hey, Lucy, how are you?
I'm amazing.
You look amazing. You stood in that beautiful office of yours there.
Yes, and I'm so happy to be here. Like, I see everyone. Hello, everybody.
Great to have you back. Where have you been? Everyone's been saying, when can I get Brenda back on? Where is Brenda? The whole summer. Listen, I know you've been busy. You've been traveling all around the world. Every time I message you to come on leadership, oh no, I'm traveling. Oh, I've got this celebration. Oh no. But I know you got the young boys. How are the boys? How's young Alex? Are you feeding him now? Is he?
They're all good. I mean, I am feeding him. He's eating very well.
Well now, yeah. Fabulous.
He is eating very well. You know, Keith, this whole process and everything we've been going through, yeah. I am just and that's what the training is going to be about today, is just growing through what you go through, right? So when you're going through something, that's when it shows your mental toughness and who you are as an individual. So that's what I've been doing the whole summer, taking the family. We've just been hanging out. Thank you, Auntie. Hanging out and traveling again, but we were traveling on a budget. Look, I told the kids, look, crypto's down.
Traveling on a budget. Does that mean
crypto's down? You better travel on a budget.
Like pizza and soda, no three-course meals. What the hell?
Well, we're gonna find hotels that have food included. Like
all inclusive.
Right? I'm human.
I can see you on the online searching for those deals.
I really do, Keith. I actually really do look for deals.
Best way, absolutely. You know, these are difficult times now. It's time we're going to pull our belt in, and you know, we all have these grandiose plans. We're going to spend money like it's going out of fashion, but no, the reality is that, you know, if you save your pennies, you'll be okay. And I know you well. You know, you wouldn't starve him, but you're certainly not going to be having caviar every evening.
But you know what, Keith, whether we have money or don't have money, I look at it like this. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep, right? You can make a lot and still not have anything.
Yeah.
So I've always just wanted to always stay humble and live that way, because it keeps me grounded. So even that, my girlfriend was laughing yesterday when I was talking on the phone, and she's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm in Marshall's. She's like, you still shop in Marshall's? Yes, I
do. Okay, so Marshall's is like a little bit of a low budget store. You can get some really good deals and, you know, good value.
Yes, yes. I mean, because you all in the UK, you don't know what Marshall, and people around the world, you may not know what Marshall is, but my US people, you all know Marshalls, right?
Okay.
We know Marshalls, we love Marshalls, and I will always be a Marshalls girl. So I am excited about the training today. So you said we have someone else. Who else do we have?
Yeah, we've got Whitney again by popular demand. She's excellent. I know you've been away, so you might have missed her a couple of times. When she's bounced onto training, she's absolutely smashed it out the park. She's going to come back and talk about leadership at the back end and why it's so important right now in this moment in time. But she has a lot of experience as well, a qualified trainer as well. But she's going to talk about the industry and how it relates to being a leader now. You and I, we bounced some ideas on leadership and what we're going to discuss today. You thought they were excellent ideas. I thought they were great as well. It's great to have you back. You can see how excited I am. I want to shut up and let you just take the floor. But the bottom line, it's great to have you back. I know it's been a busy summer. We have gone through transition. We talked about that on, the subjects we're going to talk about today. We have gone through transition. Not everyone's happy with transition. I understand that change is never easy, especially if change, looks as though it is not a good thing. But we just got to have belief and faith that change is good and that it will be good for everybody. And we just have to adjust to it as well. It's been a difficult year. I mean, we're talking about the last few months, but it has been a difficult year since roughly around January, February of this year. And we know what happened in the markets. We know what happened with the world, the economy. We know what happened with the conflicts that are out there. And that has had a knock-on effect on everything, the whole market, whether it be the crypto market, whether it be Forex or the stock market or the currency market. It's had an effect on all of us. And that also includes Hyper, the Hyper board, the Hyper project. But the great thing is that we're now firmly into September, in the last quarter of the year. And many companies, much larger than Hyper, and I don't want to mention the names because you just need to Google and see some of the big giants, some of the big platforms that are no longer around, have gone into, I think you guys call it chapter 11 or something like that. And there's quite a few of them, quite a few projects that are no longer around, quite a few projects that also has the community build element. They've disappeared. But one thing I can say about the Hyper project, the board, is that they transitioned and they've weathered the storm, and it has been a storm. There's no two ways about it. There's days and weeks, and I think I'm not sure where this is going because of the fact that the industry has had such a pounding, and whatever assets you were holding on to last year, and I know we all have assets, not we all have, but a lot of us have assets from last year are worth a fraction of what they were worth a year ago. And luckily for some of us, we still have access to those assets. But some of us have put our assets on different platforms, and some of those platforms have struggled with liquidity and just being in existence. And I'm just giving everybody a flavor of what's to come with your training, because it's quite easy to say Hyper isn't this, Hyper hasn't done this, they haven't done this, they haven't done that. It's so easy to say that, isn't that right, Brenda? Because we've been here. I mean, your story is a beautiful story. The Hyper story is beautiful. You came to the platform at the end of 2020, if I remember. That was about September, October, and 2021 was a fantastic bull year for everyone. Everybody experienced tremendous growth in 2021. But the beautiful thing is that you went to work, you put your head down, you got going, and your belief was, as you said, you wish you believed quicker, faster, and you worked harder, and you dreamt so big, and you built a fabulous community, great team, and you're an outstanding leader. But again, we're all sailing the waters. The wind is blowing nicely. We're all going in that direction where we're going at a rate of knots. And then sometimes you come into stormy waters. And that was really the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. And many things happened in the world. But more importantly, the market itself crashed. In some instances, 70 to 80%. So that means, can you imagine going to the bank and so let's say you had 100 grand in and the bank says to you, sorry, you've only got 20 grand now. That's all it is that's left here. That's what it's worth. You can hang on, we'll be here, and let's see if we can turn your currency back to where it was before. And that happened many years ago. You might not remember, but that happened to a small country called Greece. And that happened after 2008. And they wiped 30% of everyone's holdings in the banks, literally 30%. And so you had 100 euros, it was now worth 70 euros in the bank. That happened in 2008. And Greece has recovered somewhat, but that's just giving you an idea. It could even happen in the regulated space. I mean, they devalued, everything got devalued, and people were standing in line outside banks trying to get what's left of their funds out of the bank. Some of you might remember that. Please check it out. But they devalued everything by 30%. And that was back in 2008. So we are where we are now. And for some of us, we've moved forward with the project, with the concept, because we are one big family. I'm big on that, Beauty. I'm big on being a family, but I'm also big on leadership as well, and people stepping up and being leaders. So the landscape has changed. We've lost a few people. I won't even call them leaders. I was corrected a few weeks ago. So we've lost a few individuals, and we've now got what's left, which I believe is the cream of the crop. Those that are so focused on where we're going. But we also know that we have to remember that there are a lot of individuals that need to be made whole, satisfied, happy. And that's also our responsibility as a leader, being here to make sure that the company doesn't forget all the community members. That's the ones that were in the previous project and the ones going forward in the new project. You and I are on the same page about that. That's why we're still here. It was far easier, and I can tell everyone now, it's far easier to just, sail off into the sunset, and say, that's my lot. I've given as much as I can, each their own. Hope your life jackets, keeps you afloat, but I'm off. That was the easiest thing to do for a lot of the so-called leaders, and many did take that route, but I'm so pleased and happy that you didn't. You stayed with your team under tremendous pressure. We're all under tremendous pressure, of course we are, because of our beliefs and our faith and the fact that we want the best, but it's a big job trying to look after everybody. It's like being a shepherd in the field, and you've got to take care of every single sheep. And when you lose a few of those sheepdogs, and you start losing a few community members, of course, that's obviously very painful for all of us. I'm just saying this, ladies and gents, because I've got a tremendous amount of respect for Brenda and what she has done, and the fact that she's still with us here, still fighting hard and believing in the future of Hyper and what it stands for, what it has achieved and what it will achieve and what it will put right. And that's so important. So we talked about it. I've got all the notes from what we chatted about. I know you're excited to deliver some training. That is enough from me. Everyone doesn't want to hear from me. You want to hear from Brenda. And don't forget, guys, this training today is going to be 2 hours max. So that will be for you guys midday, and we're done in the UK, 5 p.m. And we are going to stick to the time. We're going to respect your time. 2 hour training is more than enough now on a Saturday. So we'll give you a couple of minutes at the end to say a few words. But Brenda, I want you to just take the floor now. I mean, these guys hear from me every week. It's great to be back, guys. And this time I'm going to be here for the full 2 hours. And it's so good to see you again. How excited I am. It makes me feel good to see you again.
Thank you, Keith, and the entire community. Thank you all so much. The first person I really do want to thank for holding it down is Sheila Morris, because she has been truly holding it down and allowing me to be able to just take some time to spend with the family, because we, the people that do know me, when we first got started in Hyper, it was hyper, hyper, hyper. I ate, breathe, sleep, drink Hyper. And we joke about my son, when I was going through Hyper, about him not eating because I was working doing Hyper. And with Hyper, I just enjoyed helping people. So I focused on just helping the people. And so with that, I realized that somebody had to sacrifice. And who sacrificed? It was my family. They sacrificed not having mom. And so I decided this summer I was going to really, truly help and be there with the family. And Sheila stepped up. Sheila says, Brenda, I got it.
Sheila, I love Sheila.
I'm going to train. I'm like, yes.
Brenda, I remember when Sheila first started, the first few days, the first few weeks, and the first few months. And what a great leader, an individual, great human being. She's such a joy to work with, and she's someone who's got your back behind your back. I've said that a few times, but I know what I mean by that. That's somebody you can absolutely 100% rely on. You can just forget about it because she's got your back.
Oh, she does, 1,000,000%. I don't have to even think twice. And it was some times where I'm like, Sheila, and she's like, we're gonna do the Monday. And one thing I love about her leadership is that she doesn't just go into, and this is a training moment for everyone. She doesn't go into, I got it, I know it all, I'm a VIP 5. She still comes in and she counsels with me. She was like, okay, it's Monday. What should we talk about? What should I talk about? And I'm like, okay, Sheila, okay, let's think about what the community is feeling right now. What do you think they would receive at the moment? And she'll just go for it. And so that's what I appreciate. And sometimes, as individuals, we get burnt out. And so that's why I felt so good to know that she was right there and holding down the community. I see all the messages in the chat. So way to go. Congratulations to you, Sheila, for just being an amazing individual and a sister and a daughter. I see how she takes care of her mom. I'm just looking at her like in awe how she does all of this. So with that, just had to say thank you. And to everyone else that's still hanging in here. For all of you all that's still there, that's still hanging in, that's still being positive, we appreciate you. I haven't left. I'm still here. I just took some time away to spend with the family.
But sometimes, Brenda, sometimes you need to do that. I mean, I'm feeling pretty tired myself. I've not taken a holiday. I mean, going to Dubai and these places is not a holiday. I'm not on the pool side with a nice cocktail, and relaxing. No, I'm working. There's stuff to do. We've been out there many times. So I've not been on holiday for over almost 3 years now. Near enough 3 years. 2019, I think early or late 2018, when my last holiday. I mean, you guys call it vacation. So I'm feeling tired now, and sometimes you've got to take some time out and recharge your battery. And whilst we were going through this transition, it was the best time for you to take that time out. You come back looking fabulous, absolutely gorgeous, fully relaxed, and it's great to have you back. And sometimes you do need to take that time out with the family and spend a bit of time just, recharging your batteries and just getting back into the family stuff. Because there's always stuff going on that you could be part of with the family.
Absolutely. Thank you, Keith. It's important, and you owe it to yourself. You deserve that for everything you've done. So, check with us, the community, and we'll give you a break. Just let us know you're going to be gone for 2 weeks so that everybody knows. Because when you're not here, they go in commotion. Where's Keith? What happened? So you have to let us know in advance.
Absolutely.
You're going to be on, and we'll take it from there.
Really, I'll do that. Definitely do that. I don't plan to take a few months off, but it'll be a week or two.
And we can survive without you. We'll put it down. So real quick, what I'd like to do before I go into the training is I'd like to first address everyone's what they're feeling. I know people are uneasy, and I want you all to know we see it in the Telegram. I see the Telegram. I chat. I don't say anything in there because what else can I say? You all have said it all. So my point is, we see it. So we hear your concerns because your concerns are our concerns.
Correct.
My number one thing I've said too is, how I look at this is Hyper, they're doing whatever it is they need to do to make sure we're going to the next stage, the next level, the next chapter. Correct. So they're doing that. So let's let them do that and do that well. However, what we can do is, of course, we put something in their ear. We're like, hey guys, you gently remind them, the 1X individuals, right? Keith is concerned about it. I'm concerned about it. We all are. Just because we don't every week say, where's the 1X? Where's the 1X?
Yeah.
We're concerned, and we do reach out. We do reach out to them and send a private message and say, okay, how's everything going? The key is you have to lead with kindness and love. Because if you're sitting there in the chat and you're just all angry and upset and then saying, oh, I'm doing this for the people, you're really showing who you really are, because 1 minute you're for the people, the next minute you're bashing the same company and saying that's not how you get the results you're looking for. So what I want you all to understand is that we feel your pain, we see you, we hear you, because we feel the same thing. I mean, I get phone calls and text messages every day of people who had just started, put 100,000 in, then hasn't withdrawn nothing. They haven't withdrawn anything. And they said, I'm concerned, Brenda, I'm worried. So do you all not think we see this and hear it and we're thinking, oh my gosh, So we're hopeful. We're being positive, staying positive, putting that energy out there that Hyper will do what they said they were going to do. They said they're going to have this recovery plan for the 1X. Yes, they told us 2 to 6 months. And it hasn't happened yet. But being obnoxious or putting things in the Telegram group saying, we're all doomed, it's over. What do you get when you do that? Or what are you hoping to get when you do that? I just want you all to ask yourself that question, for those of you that do that. Because what's happening is now they're seeing the chats, everybody is rowdy, upset. And of course, you see the people who are just positive or the people who don't have much to say. We're just sitting back like, okay. And it's not that we're sitting back and doing nothing. We're just doing it tactfully. So, but if you're going in these chats, I look at it, I just shake my head and I'm like, whew, okay. Did you get your point across? And did it help you? So think sometime before you're doing all these things and think about what you're doing. So I want to just address that to say, we feel your pain. I feel your pain. I'm in the same boat. I hear things like, oh, you guys are VIP 5s and you made money and you're this and you're that. Okay, we have. What's your point? And why I say what's your point is that we're human and we feel the pain that we actually brought our friends and family in here and they haven't received their 1X. We feel that pain. Some of you may say, well, the funds, whatever you made, won't you help them, give some back? Well, how do you know we haven't done that? Right? And so, but the point is for people to just project your feelings and thoughts of other people. That's not the way this works, because you don't know what we are going through. When I say we, I mean a few of the leaders that's still hanging in here, because what I've noticed is the people who just jumped ship and who've left, it was their decision. That's okay. But guess what's happening? They did that. And then the people are calling us. Well, my sponsor left. He said to contact you. And that's what Keith says all the time. That's the easiest route to take, is to just leave. Like, what if I left today and changed my phone number? And I was like, oh, Brenda just left. So I say, please give a little bit of kudos to the people still hanging in here, still waiting and still believing with you. Because for those of you that are all here, you still believe a little bit. Yes, you're angry. Yes, you feel pain. Yes, you're hurt. Yes, you're like, this was supposed to be my ticket out. Yes, but here's the beauty. You still get to wake up every single day with your health and make a difference in life, whatever that is. And that's what I want to train on today, is to stay positive. Look, they say there's always lessons in the losses. So anything that you look at as a loss, there's a lesson to be learned there. And that lesson can be that very thing to take you to the next level in whatever it is you're doing. Like in hyper, some people look at it as a loss. No, well, I say don't look at it all as a loss. I mean, for those individuals who haven't gotten their 1X, yes, I'm not speaking to the people who haven't gotten their 1X, because we're still here hoping you get your 1X. But for those of us who received our 1X and received a little extra, don't look at it as a loss. I'm speaking to that person who says, I quit my job and I don't have anything. Guess what? I've hit rock bottom before and I didn't have anything. I didn't have a $1 to feed my child. I hit rock bottom. But rock bottom taught me so much. Rock bottom taught me that no one owes me anything, not a company, not a man, not a best friend, not anyone. No one owes me anything. I have to get out there and figure this thing called life. So if you're that person who quit their job, guess what? You have a skill set. You have a talent. Maybe you were the best customer service rep in your job. Guess what? You can become a consultant and go to companies and say, and show them your resume, show them what you've done, show them what you can do. And then guess what? You can go in and be a consultant for that company. You can go online, create a video, talk about what you do best and say, look, you're looking for people to help. See, you start thinking outside the box. But if you're not thinking outside the box, all you're doing is hyper, they owe me my life. They owe me this. No one owes you anything. And that was my wake-up moment when I hit rock bottom years ago. My wake-up moment was no one owes me anything. See, when you keep having expectations that someone owes you something, you go through life angry, upset, miserable, blaming others, putting it all out there. And guess what? How is that helping you? How is it working out? How's it working out? And I'm saying this because I can relate. I was blaming everyone else. I was blaming everyone. I had to say in my entire 30s, I blamed everyone. But when I realized it wasn't doing anything, I said, girl, you gotta get up. I said, you owe it to yourself. You have the same 24 hours someone successful has. Now, what did that successful person do to get to where they are? Find someone who has what you have, mirror them. Even if they can't mentor you, follow them. Pay attention to what they're doing on social media or whatever. Maybe someone you follow, someone you like, just mirror that person. They may not be able to mentor you one-on-one, but you can mirror them. You can say, oh, wow, this person gets up every morning. They're exercising, they're doing this, they're doing that. Just mirror them. So my point to you all is that we feel what you feel, but just if you're still here, you're believing just a little bit, try to put some positive energy out there, even in the chat. I see all the negative things in the chat. So what I wanted to really touch on and train on today is called self-sabotaging triggers. Sometimes we all self-sabotage, but we don't know we're doing it. So I wanted to point out those triggers so you all can be like, oh, I do that all the time. So the first one I wanted to point out is discounting the positive. A lot of us do that. You discount the positives. So for example, in hyper, everyone's discounting all the good hyper has done. I always talk about, man, hyper has been amazing. It's transformed lives. But yeah, we're going through this winter. We're going through this storm right now. Oh my gosh, let's try to weather this storm. So you all discount all the positives. I don't hear no one in the chat saying, man, I remember the days where we were, whew. I don't hear anyone say that. Nothing. I remember the days when I quit my job because hyper was just, whoo. We've discounted all the positive things that hyper has done. I feel like if hyper did it once, they could do it again. That's what I feel. That's what's keeping me here. If they did it once, they could do it again. I also believe, this is what I believe. I'm not saying this is hyper. I believe they're just trying to weather the storm. I believe they're looking for that trend. As crypto goes up, then boom. I've heard people say, well, the Who Exchange, they got us. They put the H on there and now you can't take it out. I mean, my own family member called me yesterday, said it like, man, these people. I just listened and I smiled. I said, let me ask you a question. If you had a company with good intentions and you help people make millions, even billions, if you had good intentions, and then some people took advantage of the system and you lost everything, you and your own company, you lost it all. You have a little bit left on the exchange. And you're thinking of a way to keep it going without going bankrupt. Wouldn't you try to think outside the box? So yeah, they put that H in front of it so that everyone doesn't just pull and it just crashes. So they're sitting there trying to figure out a way to make this thing work for all of us. I hear a lot of things. So I said, wow, man, they put that H there. They just stole from all of you. How can they steal what they gave us? They gave that to us. And they're saying, hey, for us to keep going, to keep helping and grow this community, there's some things that have to happen. And we know everyone's not going to be happy. So that's why I said, for those of us that still believe in just a little bit, just look at it as there are reasons they're doing this. I mean, it could have been easy for them to just shut down the exchange. The whole exchange gone. Because there were some people when the website, they didn't renew one of the website. I mean, people were calling me. It's almost like they were happy. See, I told you, it's not working. And I'm on the phone like, okay, well, I'll check into that. And thank you for Dale. Dale came save the day because Dale was like, oh, here's another link. It's working. So my point, they were so self-sabotaging. You're looking for everything negative, anything. Oh, they said 2 to 6 months. It's already been 2 months. What's going on? Okay, when you do that, what are you getting? There's another way you can say it. You can say it nicely. You can say, hey guys, just want to check in. What's the update on that? And the nicer you are, I think you'll get a nice response. But if you're angry and upset and rude, who are you? You're no one's parent, and they don't have to address you or talk to you or answer you. And so this is the part, we're adults. That's why I say you gotta be 18 and over, even though 18-year-olds aren't adults. I have a 19-year-old adult. But most of us are adults, meaning we know how to control our emotions. You know better. Before you type something crazy and put it in Telegram, read it through and say, is this going to help the situation or just rowdy up some people? And then delete it. There's no need to post it. Feel what you feel, talk it out with your best friend or your coach or whoever. You don't need to put that in the chat. The chat is not there for you all to just go and express what's on your heart. That's not what it's for. It's there to bring the community together. It's for a positive space, a positive environment, but you all have just made it where people don't even want to come on Telegram. You know, there's some chats that definitely need to be closed because we're not getting anywhere of what people are saying in those chats. So ask yourself, one of the self-sabotaging triggers is right here. I have all my notes, discounting the positive and only focusing on the negative. If that is you, work on that, right? If that's you. The next thing is catastrophizing everything. Everything is coming to an end. Oh, it's not going to work. Oh my God, they said this, but it's not going to work. That's another trigger. Self-sabotage. That's another trigger. You're catastrophizing everything. The next trigger I have is the should thinking. The should thinking. I should have done this. I should have done that. I should have. So now it just keeps you in this space of uneasiness. And then you can't focus on anything else. So think about it. Are you that person every day you wake up? Man, I should have withdrawn everything. I remember there was a company I was with years ago. Some of you may know it. I was selling coffee. I didn't even drink coffee at the time. But I remember the owner he was a genius. Because I was like, I can't do this business. I don't sell coffee. And he said, well, let me ask you a question. The owner of Purina dog food, do you think he eats dog food? And I was like, oh. He said there's a market, so he sells it, but he doesn't eat the dog food. So you may not drink coffee, but there's a lot of people that drink coffee. So that's how I got into coffee. This is that one thing he said. I was like, okay. I got into coffee. I made a lot of money in coffee. I was in that company, I think, for like 7 years. My point is, in that company, I made about 6 figures. And I remember saying to myself, when things went left with that company, I didn't blame the company. I didn't bash the company. I was grateful, right? There were things I didn't like because the compensation plan changed. So my point is this happens. And so what happened? I remember saying to myself, again, the power of positive thinking, stay positive. I said to myself, I said, Lord, you allowed me to make a 6-figure mistake so you could prepare me for a 7-figure blessing. And do you all know years later, Hyper comes along. And so my point is this. Yes, we're going through some things. We're going through some storms. Some of us are at our rock bottom right now. But don't stay at rock bottom. Don't just focus on what Hyper is not doing right now. Do something else, whatever that something else is. Start your own business. Get an online course. Whatever you're good at, create a course. How do you create a course? Just get on a Zoom like this recording and then tell people about it and sell it. Sell it for $100, $50. Just say, hey guys, I do this, I'm great at this, and here's some nuggets. Give them a little bit and say, if you want more, here's a $50, and you send them the link, they can listen to it. Get creative. This is that moment. But if you're waking up every day and say, let me figure out a way to go in this Telegram chat to go in here and bash Hyper and say what they're not doing and what we're waiting on, you're wasting precious time. So I want you all to know this time right now, this winter we're going through, think outside the box. This is time for you to think. Think outside. If you have to go back to work, go back to work. I've had to do it when I was selling coffee and I thought I was on top of the world and went down. Guess what happened? This sister went back to work and I didn't want to. And I did. And I humbled myself and I went back to work. Because at the end of the day, guess what? No one owes you anything. I could have been mad at that company for changing things around. So I want you all to know, as long as we are part of a company, we don't own it. We don't control it. But we can be a part of that company. We can make or generate wealth with that company. But guess what? We need to be doing something with it. But I think this was almost a wake-up call for a lot of us to say, hey, nothing lasts forever. So always move as if it's about to end. Move as if it's about to end, right? You get into something. So here's what I do in the crypto space because of everything I've gone through in the crypto space, even including Hyper. But before Hyper, because I've learned this before Hyper came, but in the crypto space, what I do is anything I start with, I try to get that back first so that everything is just pure extra. That's what I do. If I put my hard-earned income, whatever I have in anything, my goal is I try to get that back first. And then I grow the rest. Maybe some of you don't know that. And some of you just go in and just keep putting it in. And that's okay. But maybe now you're learning that lesson. But I'm here to say it's not the end of the world. It's not over until it's over. And when I say it's not over until it's over, I'm talking about hype. But I'm also saying it's not the end of the world because life still goes on and you have something in you. You have a talent in you. You have something in you that you can continue to grow and go. So people want to know, okay, what's going on with the yellow box? What's going on with the green box? What's going on with this? Trust me, if Keith, myself, all the other leaders that are still here, if we had information, you definitely are going to get it. But if you're not plugged in and you just constantly want to call and say, what's going on with Hyper? What am I, your secretary? So you're not going to plug in to know what's going on with Hyper. You're going to go on about your life and then just come one day, what's going on with Hyper? So now I have 800 text messages, give you an update about Hyper. And so now you make me feel like the bad guy because I can't respond to 800 people. So now I'm the bad person. That's not fair. So I want you all to know, take ownership, take responsibility, plug into the leadership call, come to the training, know that your pain is our pain. We feel it. I feel it. I literally every day I have to drown myself with positive thinking because of what I feel for the people who are still just waiting for their 1X. I do every single day. And if a lot of us can stay focused and positive, and then in the Telegram groups, because you know who are they? Nikolai, our hyper community leaders are in the group. Imagine if they could see a change if positivity, like, thank you all for even still being here. Thank you. We're still waiting. By the way, is there any update on the 1X? That's a nice way to ask without being so rude. And then guess what? They're reading the chat soon. I'm like, oh, you know, we're still working on it. This is where we are. This is our time frame. They'll be willing to give us answers. But no one wants to give you an answer when you're disrespectful. I've had one of the community managers say, Brenda, I don't know who this person is, but they were extremely rude to me and disrespectful, and they hurt my feelings. And I don't even feel like saying anything anymore. And I'm like, man, we're adults. If you want someone to treat you with respect, you have to treat them with, we get it. Communication is not their strong suit. We get it. It is not their strong suit. So because we do get it, let's be nicer in our communication to them and not be rude. So I wanted to really touch on that right there, because I know sometimes we have these triggers, but we're not aware that we have them. I like to call this a conscious interrupt, because when you're so used to thinking one way and then someone gives you another way to think, it interrupts your consciousness of how you think. So these triggers right here, you have them, you're probably not aware of them, you don't know you're doing it, but if you're always focusing on the negative and you're never bringing up the positive, that's a problem. That's you creating a bigger problem for yourself in everything. That doesn't have to just be with hyper. It could be with anything in your life. So now I say, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So for those of you that don't understand that, think about it. Lemon is what? It's sour. That thing is sour. But when you make lemonade, it's sweet. So guess what? You feel right now that things are sour. You feel right now that things aren't going so well. So what do? Let's make some lemonade. So I want to share with you all the lemonade I've been making, right? So the lemonade I've been making is just spending time with the family, looking at myself, looking at my life and saying, what is it that I'm good at? What can I do? So for example, and this is for my ladies, men, you'll come later. This is for my ladies. I have this with fitness, right? Because I know your health is your wealth. And I'm putting together a 30-day program. I did it for me first. As it works for me, then I want to roll it out to my ladies, right? But again, I'm doing this for myself. But in the same way I'm doing this for myself is so I can stay positive, stay active, stay doing something. And think about it. As women, who would love to lose 2 to 3 inches off your waist size in 1 week? Mm-hmm. And you start to, all the negative things you're thinking, you start thinking positive about yourself. Like, man, I feel good about me and things like that. So my point is, I'm making lemonade out of lemons because right now it's our winter. So let me focus on something that means something to me. So you focus on something that means something to you. Maybe you want to write a book during this time, right? Maybe you have a story in you that you need to give birth to. Write that book, right? Maybe you're depressed of your weight. Start working on that. Get up every day and do something about it. So my point is, while we're waiting for this, don't just sit still. Don't sit stagnant. Do something to keep you going. Go out there, go get another certification on something that you've always wanted to do. For those of us that learned enough crypto here, there's so many people that don't even know how to buy cryptocurrency. Maybe you do a crypto basic training and you coach and you teach and you post it. That's what you do, right? Life gives you lemon, make some lemonade. But there's always something you can be doing. I see my friends, they're out there doing all these different things. They're trying different things. That's a beautiful thing. Now, everything is not going to work, but trust me, you will find yourself through the process and you see your strength and see what you're good at and what you can keep doing and how you can keep going. It pays to be positive. It pays to be nice. I want you to think about all the things that come out of being negative. What do you get? feel free to list them. If you're negative, what happens? Negativity breeds negativity. So you get more negative people. So now here you all are, a bunch of angry people, all angry. And nothing's getting accomplished. But positive people, when you're positive, guess what happens? More people want to be around you. People have ideas. Guess who they're going to come to? That positive person. Somebody has a company they're launching and they remember, oh, you were so good in crypto. Let me call this person. Oh, so many things come from just being positive, being thankful, being grateful, being happy. People want to be around you. They want to bring things to you, ideas to you. They want to collaborate with you. They want to go on business with you. But that negative person, no one wants you. No one wants you around. No one wants to see you. No one wants to talk to you. People ignore your calls, and you're just sitting there all in this. But guess what? You have your own group. You got a group of negative people. You all are just negative and going nowhere. And I'm sharing this because you have to hear it. Because when you hear it, if you are mature enough, you'll receive it. You'll take a look at your life, look at yourself, evaluate it, and say, you know what? Why do I do this? And the beauty is that you can change. You can change. I say change or remain the same. You can change. You could decide today, tomorrow is going to be a new day. And write a list of what you're going to do to make tomorrow a new day. See, just don't go through life without a roadmap. You have no roadmap. Where's your roadmap? You wake up in the morning, you're lost. Oh, Lord, what am I going to do today? Let me check Telegram. Okay, yes, I'm going to put about, I'm going to type my feelings in here. They need to know. Why? Have that roadmap. What are you going to do? Where are you going? Put something, have a schedule for yourself. Wake up. I don't care if you're meditating, if you're exercising, if you're taking a trade, taking a certification, whatever it is, write a list of what you want to tackle today. And so you could feel good about you because no one owes you anything. Now, my 1X people, hyper owe you 1X. Yeah, they owe you 1X. And they said they're going to get it. So I have calls to make. Even when I get off this Zoom today, I have my 1X people who haven't received it. I need to call and just keep them updated, right? Say, hey guys, here we go. There's hyper still here. They haven't disappeared. They're still working on it. And just, I will give you any more updates or information as I receive it. And that's what I'm doing. Because if you log in tomorrow and hyper is gone, then that's when you can say and do whatever it is you want to say and do. Because now it's like, whoa, we believed in you and now you're gone. So because they're still here, some of us are still believing that there is a chance. So Keith, thank you. I just wanted to share that because that's what's kept me going. That's what's kept me just still positive about hyper, because yes, hyper is not on people's top list right now, but hyper has done so much good to so many people that have never made anything, and people around the world. So my point is, if they had a mission and a vision to help people around the world, why would they end it now? Why stop now, right? So they are trying, but if we don't give them a chance and they realize these are some ungrateful people, we might as well say forget it, because we're trying and they're still bashing us and still beating us up. So now what are we trying to accomplish? We bash them and now they just say, you know what, forget it. They're not happy anyway, but they see grateful people in the chat, thankful, happy, like we're not in a good place, but we're believing in you. We're hoping this thing all works out. That could change their thinking. Like, hey guys, let's speed this thing up. The people are happy. The people are positive. But they could also go the other way and say, these people they're so ungrateful. Right. So I hope that helped a little bit, because man, our thoughts, we tend to really beat ourselves up. We tend to stay so negative all the time, where we don't think about doing the right thing, making sure that we're focusing on what's good, taking care of ourselves, taking care of family. Because if you stress so much, they say stress kills. Stress does kill. So don't stress. This is exactly where we are. But just remember, he didn't lead us this far to just forget about us. So thank you, Keith. And I'm still here, so I'll chime on in, but I just wanted to share. You may have to unmute yourself, but I just wanted to share that part to just let everyone know that's how Brenda is staying focused.
You know, Brenda, listen, it's been a while since you've been on, and I've been very patient. You know, I can say, where's Brenda? Come back. You know, by myself, a handful of us. But I just knew you needed to take a bit of, some time off. And I could have said, that woman, oh man, there you go. She's gone. I thought so. She, she's just like, leaving us to it. But I just knew that, one of these weekends you'd come back and look at the messages in the chat. We've missed you. I've missed you. The positive side, I mean, the way you look at things, the way you get us to see things. And I love that because I think you've seen me react a few times on Telegram, where I sit and you know how positive I am. So some of you might have seen some of my posts on some of the groups because I don't play when it comes to being positive. If you're going to come across anything that is negative or just, super hypercritical, and you expect me to react and say, oh yeah, you're absolutely right. This is the shoulder you should be crying on. I get it. I feel your pain, but let's try and be positive because we're not trying to get a pity party going on. We don't want everyone to be chiming in because I wouldn't want to be reading stuff and it's just, wallowing in the mud. Let's try and just see some clarity and not just see mud, because the bottom line is that, and I say it all the time, it was far easier for them to shut up shop, because one of the things you covered today was that we have lost sight of all the positives that has been achieved on this long journey. I was on the journey in 2019. You came late 2020, but the journey has been now almost 3 years. We're fast approaching our 4th year. And it's far easier than, listen, we did as much as we could do. Tens of thousands, or dare I say, maybe hundreds of thousands of members globally benefited to the tune of more than one times. I mean, some of the names that, used to appear during 2021, I don't see them anymore, but we've had, if we go through the catalog of leaderships and we go through the history of training, technical training and leadership, you'll be, oh, I remember that individual. I remember that individual. We've got, if not tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of members that have benefited during the good times. And of course, those that have not been able to do what they wanted to do, or to achieve what they wanted, or to get back what they put in, we're here to help you achieve that. But if you've done very, very well, and you still only see negatives, then I can't help you. I can't help you when you post something. I can't help you when you write something. I can't help you if you want me to be on your side, because the way you see it is that this was the deal, this was the contract, and I want 25x. You've given me 10, I want the other 15. If that is you, I'm sorry, I can't help you, because my focus is on, first of all, making sure that they're still around and they are leading us in the right direction, and they've not forgotten their responsibility to those individuals that are the ones that should be focused on, the ones that are yet to get one times. I'm here for that reason and that reason alone. I absolutely believe in the Project HN. I believe in the NFT marketplace. It's going to grow. I think that's the next big thing in the blockchain space, Brenda. But I also know that we're in the best people, the best company, and the best individuals to steer us in that direction. And what we've achieved up until now, I think, will pale into insignificance if you think about what that space is going to become. And we're quite early in that space. But you just have to have that belief. You just have to believe that that is where we are. If you don't, and if you are getting frustrated, if your patience has been worn thin, then, as Brenda says, you just have to just take a deep breath and start to focus on other things around it. Because, sometimes I remember, you talk about when you went from that six-figure, flying high, doing well. I've been there before, and then all of a sudden the rug is pulled from underneath you. The company that you're with do a few things that you don't agree with, and then all of a sudden that has a direct effect on you. It happened to myself and Mr. Clayton Ford in 2002 with a very large regulated company, a telecoms company, and it crashed completely. The third largest company in the world completely crashed and left the stock market. It went from flying high at hundreds of dollars down to like worthless. And a few actions by the directors and the financial directors had a knock-on effect on businesses around the world, including my business with Mr. Ford. And we had to lay off staff. We had to hand out redundancies, and eventually we had to close the shop. Business was over. And that took us 6.5, 7 years to build. And it took like a year to just go boom. Now, we had no control over that, but I did learn something from that I can only control what I can control. And then I got to decide what I do afterwards. Do I pick myself up, dust myself down, and say, stuff happens, and let's see what else we can do? And that's exactly what I did. And that was what, I don't know, 20 years ago. I'm still here, fighting the good fight. And hopefully, what I've been able to do is to change the lives of not just a handful of us. So it's not just a handful of us, not just yourself and myself and a handful of us. We're talking about tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of individuals that we've been able to change their lives positively. And you've got to hold on to that, because that's so important. That means your life has meant something. You've done something, and you've changed the course of many individuals, their lives, their families' lives. Now, that's little comfort to those who are yet to get their 1x back, or even get a little bit on top. But again, we're here to make sure that those individuals are also taken care of, and the company is responsible for those individuals. But what gives me the biggest, just satisfaction is that I know personally that we've helped thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people around the world on this almost 3 year, definitely 3 year journey going into our 4th year. We've helped a tremendous amount. Some names that I was looking through some old, posts and old chats, and there are so many individuals. Some of them are not visible anymore. Some of them have chosen that this was it for them, and HN is something that they don't want to go. I understand that. Everyone has their own choices, but we have had a massive impact in this space, unlike any other company. You talked about your coffee company. I've been around a little bit longer than you, so I've experienced wellness, I've experienced telecoms and services and gas, electricity. I've experienced coffee as well. I've experienced a lot of things in the last 35, 40 years, cleaning products, the whole lot. But what it has done, it's hardened me to, when things are going tough, you just stick around, and you believe. And sometimes, it hasn't worked. And as you know, as I said, with the telecoms company, with your coffee company, sometimes you have to start again from rock bottom. But I know that if you've done it before, you can do it again. And you said something very, very important as well, is that you believe that these guys can do it again. They did it before. They've got the experience. They've created something before, which is unique, and they can do it again. And that's what I hold on to, the fact that they've done it before, and they've got the experience, and they've ironed out some of the bugs from before, and now they're going again. So I'd rather take a chance. I'd rather jump on this saddle, stay here with these guys, and to look around for another horse, that may or may not last the journey, finish the course, jump over all the fences. And who wants to be on a horse that can't get over all the fences? We want to get on a horse that's going to be able to get over all the fences. And that would have to be an experienced, wise, old horse, And when you see them, you watch show jump and you think, some of these older horses, they won't get round. But guess what? Boom, someone just said a mule. Who wants to be on a mule? But many people, Brenda, leave this space or this company and they jump on mules. They jump on horses that can't survive the course. And unfortunately, they end up going from one to another, and stories are coming out about how this is going to be the next big thing. One thing I can say is that it takes, 3 years is an awful long time. We're fast approaching our 4th year. It's an awful long time for a company to be around in this space. And yes, they've got a lot of things to put right, but they're also giving us a chance to continue the journey and to explore this new space. And that is tremendously exciting.
And Keith, I also believe that they have learned what not to do. See, this was something they put the plan together, didn't realize, they didn't realize we were going to grow as fast as we've grown. I remember Sam Lee saying to you how, you exceeded their expectation by it growing as fast as it did. And it grew because of you. You started the calls, you started the trainings, you started the presentation because of you. And that's why if I'm going to look to anyone, I gauge my pulse for Hyper based on you, because you started this. You led the way. Like I said to people, if Keith says jump now, I'm jumping. I don't even have to ask any questions, because I know how dedicated you are to the company. I know that you are in touch with certain individuals. I know that. So that's why I'm like, if you're still here, still grinding, still on these calls, still here to give hope to individuals, and they can't respect that and appreciate that bothers me, because I'm the same. Just leave. Don't come on here to tell us all the things you know is going to go wrong. You might as well leave and go do something right. Right? So I believe all the mistakes, they are human. They're not perfect, but these are some humans and individuals who have actually helped transform lives around the world, and they're willing to do it again. So why would we be patient with them to see what they put together to help? Because I look at the chats every day and I'm like, why are you guys so nasty? And they're trying. When I saw what they did to Who, I was like, man, they're genius. But other people looked at it like, oh, they got us. Oh, these thieves. Oh my gosh. And my brain was like, this is genius. They're like, okay, here are your assets. You just can't take it out right now, but here they are. But what you can do eventually is stake them and then get rewards from them. So it could be slowly get them so people don't just pull it all out and the exchange crashes. So I'm down for any company or anyone who wants to do the right thing by the people and still stick around, versus to give you what you want, crash the thing, it crashes and burns, and everybody's just like, oh, I knew it wasn't going to work anyway. No, this is why they're who they are. They're in this crypto space. They understand it. But what they didn't understand, like you said before, Keith, they didn't understand how to design a compensation plan. That wasn't them. Their specialty is crypto. They didn't understand that. So when they designed what they designed, they didn't realize it was going to grow the way it was going to grow. They didn't realize it wasn't going to be sustainable. They didn't realize there are people in the world that's going to abuse the system. They didn't realize all that. Now that they know, they're like, hey, we're going to go through the NFT route. And with the NFT, guess what? You can't use the same email over and over. We will know, we can see, we can stop it, we can catch it.
Correct.
And they're trying to do it right.
Right.
But so when I hear people say, well, they just took the purple people's money so they can use that to pay you back. And who cares if they're going to take it to pay you back? It's okay as long as they have a system and how they're going to do it. It does take money to make money. I thought it was genius even with regular Hyperverse, because I figured, hey, that was a genius idea. You take, let's say someone puts 10,000 in crypto in, and they're going to give it back to you in say 20 months, but they're going to give it to you at 0.5% a day. That allows you to take the 10,000 turn it into 100,000 and give it to someone at 0.5. That's how I saw it.
But Brenda, that happens every day in the regulated space. I'm just saying because I've been in the regulated space, I've been in the pensions and investment space, and investment companies offer that every single day, whether it be based on property assets or in the market or hedge funds, but they offer similar types of benefits from their project. Now, let me say this to you now, not every one of those projects are successful, and many of them are unsuccessful. We in the UK had a dearth of companies offering some kind of ROI, and that's obviously from the regulated space based on their idea. And those companies just had a director or a CEO, a board of directors and management, and it was set up as a company, of course, because it's a regulated space. And they were offering products and services that is designed to give an ROI. Let me say this to you now. The vast majority of them that I was in the 10 years that I was in the space did not make it. That's in the regulated world where you have a director and a board. And guess what? Those companies go down. And then, of course, you have a very small compensation scheme that's designed to give the victims a small amount back. All I'm saying to you, Kira, is that the concept, if you think about it, is exactly the same. You know, we give them a membership, that they take that membership and they look to make profit on that in the market through the various areas that they specialize in. And that is how they're able to give back. We understand that model because it's in the regulated space as well as in the crypto space. The great thing about it is that they managed to achieve this for a couple of years, just over 2 years. And did they see the market crashing as badly as it crashed? So if they're holding on to assets that's 100%, yeah, and then they wake up one day and those assets are now only worth 20%, and everyone's saying, right, sell your 20%. Well, the 20% might not be able to cover what everybody is owed because they've already paid out. So it's just, for me, just trying to say, well, listen, let's be patient because, you know, things will change. You know, the winter, what comes after winter? We have spring, and we might see some green shoots in spring. And have we reached spring yet? Probably not, because Bitcoin is still hovering around about the 20,000 and Ethereum is hovering around about the 1,500. So we know that we haven't seen many green shoots. It did pop back a little bit. Bitcoin got up to about 24,000, but it bounced back down. I'm doing my best to try and make a little bit in this very bear market and trying to buy it on its way down because I believe that it will come back. And so does the owners. And that's why we have to be patient because, you know, after every bear market, you are going to get a bull market. And now that the fact that they're also looking at the NFT space as a new space for growth, I think we're perfectly positioned. But as leaders, we've got to just help our community to understand that let's be positive as long as we can be positive because they're still here. And as Mr. Ford says, the lights are still on. They're still here and the lights are still on. Listen, Brenda, it's been fabulous. It's been an honor to have you back on leadership. Man, wow, wow. I know that everyone thoroughly enjoyed that. Look, we're still at 1,000 and we are gone past quarter past 4 here, over an hour and 15 minutes. You were
I have to say this. I love the community. I love all 1,000 plus of you all. I truly love this community. You all are amazing, and we all have learned so much. All of us have grown. And when I say all of us, I'm talking about all the ones who have stayed plugged in and committed. And here we have all grown. We are in a really good place, guys. We just can't see it right now. We cannot see it. But you have to try so hard, dig deep within whatever that little feeling, that little glimmer of hope, hold on to that and believe in it. If you're still here, if you've totally given up and you don't believe in it, then that's okay too, right? So, but don't bash the ones who are still believing. If we still believing, it's okay. Let us believe, because you got to believe in something.
Well, the fact that they're here on leadership tells me that they still believe. Otherwise, they wouldn't even show up. There'll be messages,
Right.
what's going on? Like I get messages now, I've been away for months or whatever, what's happening? I'm like, what? Come on, please. But if you're here now, just take the positives away from today's training, because we don't have all the answers, but we're here with you and we feel every emotion that you're going through. And for those of you who, are feeling frustrated, we want to tell you that we understand, but we're here with you. And that's why we are still here. And we believe that things will be okay. We will have a summer again, and we will go through some good times again, because, after every winter comes a spring and summer. And that's going to be the same for our industry. I mean, we lost over 1 trillion in market cap. It was fast approaching 3 trillion. Now we're at 1 trillion. Sorry, 1 trillion. So we've lost in terms of market, almost 2 trillion from the markets. And that's going to have an effect on everybody. But that being said, I want you to stick around. We've got, 45 minutes to go. I want to bring up, I can't find her though, I'm looking for her. Dale, is Whitney around? Her camera is not on. Whitney, is your camera on? I'd like to also.
Hi, I'm sure I'm definitely here.
Just say a few words and I'll be able to stop. There you go. Thanks, Dale. Listen, Whitney, thank you at such short notice for jumping on today. I heard about your training this week. I think this is your 3rd or 4th now training this week. Brenda, you still there? Sorry, I think Dale's taking.
No, I'm here. I'm in the background. I'm watching. I got to hear from Whitney.
Absolutely brilliant. Fabulous. Guys, make sure you get the recording, because you've got 2 fabulous superstar women here delivering training today. I need to shut up, because sometimes keep it in mind, and I'm going to go on and on and on. I need to shut up and let the experts do their thing. And Whitney, thank you for such short notice. We only messaged each other about 4 hours ago.
Literally.
About your training this week. You got a slide that you want to share with us. You got 45 minutes to just deliver some training. Guys, we won't have any time for Q&A today. I appreciate you guys want to jump on. You're all very excited. But guess what? 2 hours of solid training, guys, will be brilliant for you to just go and recap. But Whitney, I'm going to hand the floor to you. Again, you're always welcome. They love you when you come back. I mean, you just knock it out the park. Guys, I want to just say thank you all for your kind words in the chat. We just want to deliver training for you on a Saturday morning, afternoon, or evening, which will set you up for the week ahead, and just maybe get rid of some of those negative cobwebs that are just sometimes you just got to just clear out of your mind. But Whitney, over to you. Beautiful. Thank you so much for stepping in and giving us some of the training you covered this week with your team.
Perfect. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. First of all, guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are calling in the world. I was not supposed to be here today, so this was not a planned, thing for me to be here. I had an incredible training session. I kicked off my 14-week leadership class yesterday, and we had 3 amazing sessions, 10, 3, and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that was just kind of open to everyone around the world. And we had people calling in from all over the world. It was so incredible. A huge shout out to all of my new students that I have. You guys were incredible. And so the reason that I'm here today is because one of my students, and shout out to Dr. Ethel James Cooper, who is on the call, Dr. J, as you guys know her, incredible, incredible woman. And she loved this one slide that I did so much. Like, she was like, Whit, she goes, I am going to message Keith and tell him that if this is the only thing that Whitney talks about, this slide needs to be spoken about. And so she did just that. She did exactly. I really, I was flattered by what she said. And especially because Dr. J is a coach herself. And so, when a coach teaches a coach, it's different. It's a different, level, because she understands a lot of the things that I'm teaching. And I mean, I'm not rewriting the wheel here. I'm not rewriting anything. But she was so, inspired by, you know, kind of the way that I put it together and what I said. And it resonated with her so much because it's a truth that she has come to herself, and an understanding that she has come to herself. And she felt so powerful about it that she actually messaged Keith and was like, please get Whitney on training to teach about this slide. So that is why I'm here. So I'm going to focus for the next few minutes because y'all know I can be long-winded, y'all know. So I'm really going to try to keep this very, very short, very, very concise, because there's a lot of things that I want to kind of touch on this one topic. So leadership training was yesterday, and one of the things that the topic was fundamentals of leadership. So what we're kicking off is really understanding what are the fundamental things that make up effective leadership, right? Because you have leadership, which is, you know, could be a person that gets a title of leadership because of their pay grade. Maybe it's a position in a company that they get, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe they're in a network marketing business and they've reached a certain level and now they're considered a leader. Okay, cool. That's leadership. Then you have ineffective leaders, which are people that really don't want to do the work. They're in positions of leadership, but they don't want to do the work, and they are really not committed to helping their teams, building their teams, being better people, growing, et cetera, et cetera. And then you have effective leaders, which is really what my course is about, is really building and growing effective leaders, giving you guys the tools to really understand what being a leader is, because it's way more than just a few bullet points. And so in our class yesterday, the first topic that we had was called characteristics of leadership. Like, what is leadership and what are the characteristics of leadership? And I had compiled these, I think it was about 9 characteristics of leadership from the greatest of the greats, and kind of like what they were saying were the main components, the main things that really make up a good leader. And what is so interesting is, you know, in the beginning of the video, at the beginning of training, you know, Mr. Williams plays that Art Williams video all the time, right? And I mean, I've listened to that video a million times. And it's so funny how you don't hear certain things until you're ready to hear it. And I've listened to that Art Williams video a million times. And for the first time, I really heard him in the beginning when he said, I have never seen a successful team, a successful organization, a successful business without good, effective leadership. And he is absolutely correct. If you don't have effective leadership in your organization, you will not succeed. If you are not an effective leader on your team is not going to succeed. If you are not invested in doing the work, doing the real work, your team is not going to succeed. And I want to say something with all love and respect to Brenda and Keith, because I know that they're so positive and I love their positivity. And, you know, they were saying that, you know, obviously if people are still here, you know, then it must mean that they believe. Right. And I personally disagree. What I would say is we have a term in Trinidad, it's called MACO, M-A-C-C-O. And a MACO is somebody who just likes to come in and just kind of see what's going on and just MACO the business. Like, you're in Jamaica, we call it preeing. And it basically just means, these terms just mean that you're not really here to be a part of anything. You just want to know what's going on. You're not really here to grow and to develop. You just want to know that you just want to be able to say, oh, I come to leadership and I know what's going on. But you're not actually invested in doing the work in yourself. And that was never more apparent to me than this week. And I think it was really interesting, especially for those of us that are coaches and those of us that do this work out, like in the real world, right? Outside of just being on a Zoom's call. And it was so interesting how many people, you know, reached out to me and were like, I want to be in your course. I want to sign up in your course. And I sent out the email. I sent out everything. The days were going down. I was counting down the days. And the amount of people that I sent this email to versus the amount of people that actually showed up, like actually came, paid their money, showed up, and were in class, very minuscule. And this is not to shame anybody. This is not to be, you know, it has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with that. What I want you guys to understand is what I'm about to talk about in leadership directly correlates to this. My spiritual teacher says there is never a crowd on the leading edge. And now more than ever, I believe that and I see it. A lot of us come to this training. There are 992 people right now, almost 1,000 people in the main room, and then we have probably another 400 or 500 people on the external link, on the overflow. A lot of us are here, and we come to training every week, and we listen, and we listen, and we listen. And Brenda just said, you know, don't go into the Telegram groups and be negative. Don't go in there and, you know, ask people things that you can get on training, all that stuff. And it's like it goes through one ear and it just goes out the other. Like it just like, I don't know if we're just like willingly, consciously, subconsciously, but there are some of us that are just like, no. I will give you an example. I had somebody after last week's training, I was on technical training, I was talking about some stuff, and I had somebody reach out to me and ask me how to do a withdrawal. And here's my thing. Lovingly, that's not my job. Like, we have technical training for that. And it's so interesting how there are so many of us, like we will come to training and we'll listen to Brenda, we'll listen to Dr. Tamia, we'll listen to Keith, we'll listen to Clayton. We will listen to all these people. We'll come every week and we'll listen and we'll rah, and yeah, we get it. And then literally we will turn around and do the same thing. I wish all the leaders could like take screenshots of the messages that we get. And we would never do that. But like, I wish you guys could understand what it is like when you come on a training and you literally tell people, guys, go to technical training, go to the trainings that are designed for these things. Technical training is designed for helping you set up your wallets. If there's a wallet that you've never set up, go to technical training and ask the technical trainers. Jackie's there, Andrew's there, Susan is like, we have so many technical trainings. There is no excuse for anybody to say, I can't get to training. And yet you will we come into these groups as leaders and we say, guys, you have to help yourselves. We are not helping you if you come to us and now you think that we are your resource to help you do things that you should be doing yourselves. And so it was such an interesting experience to go through. And so as we were in training yesterday, one of the things that we were talking about is some of the traits of leadership. And these are traits that are so hard for some of us, but it is so necessary. So I'm going to share my screen really quickly, if I can, and I really want to show you what we were talking about. So this was our topic number one. What is leadership? So very quickly, we were talking about the traits of effective leadership. So the first trait that we had was effective leaders communicate authentic core values. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go through each of these. I'm just going to give you kind of like the main highlight points because this is not the slide that Dr. J wanted me to talk about. So, but this is the preview to the slide that we were talking about. So one is effective leaders communicate authentic core values, right? We see that with Keith all the time. Keith comes on here every single week and he will reinforce what he gets from corporate because he genuinely believes in this project and in the product that we have. That is what an authentic leader does. They say the core values of this company are understanding crypto. There are still many of us in here who are still only in this for the money. We are not in it for crypto. We are not in it because we understand blockchain. We're not in it because we even care about Web3. We're in it because somebody that we know made some money and we saw it and we saw how they put it in their bank account and it was real. And we were like, yeah, I want that. And then what we did is when it started coming through, some of us, not everybody, but some of us quit our jobs. We gave up things and nobody told us to do that. Respectfully, nobody told you to quit your job when you had money coming in, but you made a decision because you saw what was coming in. That's what some of us did. And then when things kind of hit rock bottom, we were like, oh crap, now you're responsible. Now the company is responsible for making me whole. When really what I'm upset about as a human is that I didn't necessarily make the right decisions. But it's easier for me to make it about the company and make it about the team and make it about other people than it is for me to take responsibility for my actions and say, you know what? No one actually told me to do this. And I made this decision because I really legitimately thought that this was going to last for a long time. I saw what was going on, and maybe I made an error of judgment. Like Brenda said, what can I learn from this period? What can I learn in this time and say, okay, so what this taught me is even when you have things coming in, that's great. Just don't depend on one source of income. It's the same thing with your job. Even when you're in your job, you don't want to just depend on that one source of income because the company can come in and fire you in a heartbeat. They can have layoffs and cuts and all that stuff. It happens every day. I used to be a director. I used to have to fire people because my company president came in and said, I don't like that person, so fire them. It sucks. And you have to make hard decisions. You got to do things that really don't make you feel good. So we never have any guarantees in life. And yet some of us saw this and we thought, oh my God, this ain't going anywhere. Crypto's at 65,000. I'm good. So there's a lot of us that have a hard time taking responsibility for our actions, for the things that we have done, for the decisions that we've made. And then we come into leadership and we want the leaders to fix it. We want the leaders to take responsibility. We want them to fix it. We want them to tell the company how much this is hurting us like they don't know, because this is not benefiting the company for people not to be taking out withdrawals. If you don't know how a hedge fund works, it doesn't benefit a company. It doesn't benefit a hedge fund if you're not getting your rewards. It doesn't. Regardless of what people may think about what they're making in the back end, trust me, it is not a good look if people cannot take out their money. So why we would think that the company would intentionally do this to us makes no sense. So back to real leaders communicate core values. The core value of this company is crypto. It is not making money. It is crypto. Making money is an after effect of it. But the core value of this company is understanding crypto. And what crypto is ownership. Imagine someone trying to give you ownership to something and you're like, well, it's not coming in the way that I want, so no, I don't want it. Imagine that. So core leaders, authentic leaders, effective leaders, they communicate authentic core values. The second trait of an effective leader is effective leaders demand customer centricity. Here's the thing, guys. We are Keith's customers. Okay, we are under Keith Williams' team. So we are his customers as leaders, as team leads, as people that are building this organization. We are his customers. Do you know who our customers are? Our teams. So if you have a team of people, that is your customer. So if you are someone in this business who brought in people, whether you like it or not, whether you want to own it or not, because you received rewards for the team that you brought in. So if you want to get the rewards, you have to take ownership as a leader. You don't get to have it both ways. You don't get to bring people in and then walk away and say, well, you need to go talk to somebody else. That's not my problem. No, that is your problem because you brought those people in. You're a leader. Those are your customers. And how you treat your customers is everything. How you treat your team is everything. If you are not taking care of the people on your team, then you are not being an effective leader. And you don't get to blame it on your upline who walked away. That's them. Who are you? If you're still here, if you are one of the 990 people that's currently on this call right now, if you're still here, who are you choosing to be when you show up for your team? Your teams are your customers. You got to take care of them. And those people, whoever they brought in, they need to take care of them. So if it means getting on the phone and just saying, hey guys, I still don't have any information other than what we had, but I'm letting you know that I'm still plugged in. I'm still going to training. I hope you guys are still coming to training. Please get on leadership. Please get on tech training. Anything where any information about updates or what's happening is being released, please come on and keep plugged in. That is your job. Your job is not to make sure that people are in training. You can't do that. I mean, people are grown-ass adults, right? We're all grown, like Brenda said. But we have to start taking responsibility. And as leaders, this is going to be some tough love, because when we get to slide number 9, you're going to understand why I'm kind of being a little direct, if you will, because if you don't get these things, you're not going to get slide number 9, okay, or point number 9. Point number 3, effective leaders display total commitment. That is what Keith shows us. That is what Clayton shows us. That is what Renal Hepburn shows us. That is what Jackie shows us. We see Jackie every week. Jackie is consistent. Jackie is committed. I can't remember the last time that I haven't seen. I mean, I think there was a time where Jackie went on vacation with her kids, I think. And she told us, she was like, guys, I'm going to be away. I think it was like 3 weeks. And she came back when she said she was going to come back, and plugged right back in when she came. She's committed. That's what effective leaders do. They are completely committed to the project, to the company, to whatever it is, because they understand, hey, if I start being wobbly, what can I expect from my team? You know what I'm saying? Like Brenda said, it's not that we necessarily have more answers or we're privy to more information than anybody else is. It just means that we've learned how to manage our emotions and communicate effectively. And we are saying, we're going to stay positive because we believe in this, we understand what this is, and we want to make sure that we can be effective for our teams. So effective leaders display total commitment. Number 4, effective leaders are of service, because this is about being of service to each other. When we are pouring into people, when we are making sure that our teams, to the best of our abilities, are emotionally stable, and it's like, guys, I'm still here. Let's lock hands. Let's hold this out. Imagine Bitcoin. Just think about this for a second. Imagine if we had Hyperverse back when Bitcoin was like 0.0000 cents, right? And imagine for 10 years, we were holding on to this thing and locking arms and believing. I said this in the last training. How long are you guys willing to stay in the game? Bitcoin, the last time that Bitcoin went through that period before it got to $20,000 or $60,000 or $100,000, whatever it was, it took it 10 years. What are you really committed to? Are you really in this? That's why I said, are you really in this crypto life? Because there's a lot of you that still don't get it. You still don't get it. You are not about this life. You're not really about the crypto life. You're about the money, but you're not really about the crypto life. And if you're about the crypto life, you understand that there are highs and there are lows, there are tides, there's going to be harvest, there's going to be seasons where you got to just plant and you got to just stay firm. You're going to go through that. But if all you're concerned about is, well, I made these decisions because I thought the money was coming in, and now your expectation is that, well, the company and the leaders, well, you know, Brenda should give me some of her USDT because she got it from, you know, her thing. And, you know, she had, no, she doesn't know that to anybody. She doesn't know that to anybody. We are all responsible for the decisions and the actions that we take. We are all responsible for the decisions and the actions that we take. And we need to start, as leaders, we need to start showing some tough love to our teams, because a lot of us are being walked all over because people think that we are now the repository of their frustrations. It's like, well, I can't, my leader isn't here, so now I'm just going to project all my stuff on you because you're there. Everybody else walked away. I'm not going to take responsibility anymore. I'm not going to attend training. I'm not going to actually try to understand the system or the new products or anything like that. I'm just going to be angry and you have to deal with it. No, we don't. Respectfully, no, we don't. Because I didn't recruit you, right? So if you're coming to me, you're coming to Brenda, you're coming to anybody, you're asking for help. And please be aware of how you're doing that. Because honestly, I think if some of you were to see the messages that we receive from community members, you would be shocked. You'd be like, wait, what? Like, people are coming at you like, what? They're saying what? They're asking you these questions? Like, these are things that we talk about every week on training. It's like, yep. And yet still, we will still have some people that will come in and will be like, I don't know how to take out withdrawal. Can you show me how to do that? No, I can't. I haven't taken out a withdrawal on HyperNation yet. So, I mean, until I can actually walk through it myself. Now, do I understand the basics of it? Sure I do, because it's not difficult. It's really not difficult. But I understand the basics of it because I go to technical training, because Andrew is an incredible technical trainer. And I have watched his videos a million times, especially the HVT video. I remember when nobody was setting up their HVT and I was like, no, 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 I'm going to make sure it's set up. And because I took the time then, which was a decision I made, it made it so much easier for me now to understand what was happening and how I needed to convert the funds. I was like, oh, okay, this is easy. I just add in the token, done. But for people who were like, I didn't set up my MetaMask, I didn't set up my HVT, I thought it was BS, I thought it was garbage, and that's a decision you made. That's not anybody else's fault. That's a decision you made, right? So if you're now trying to understand how to get these things done, you got to take responsibility and attend technical training. You got to go back into your back office that you still have access to because you paid for it, and you got to go through those videos. You got to take the time to do that. Number four, effective leaders are of service, meaning that they take care of their teams. They make sure that they're serving their teams, and they're not giving people orders. That's not what effective leaders are doing. Right? They're saying, hey, let's make a plan. Let's be of service to each other. Let's help each other as a team. I'm a part of an incredible Telegram group. Shout out to the HV/N strategy group. I was invited by a member who reached out to me after my training last week and was like, I think her name is Yana. And she said to me, hey, Coach Whitney, I really think you would love to be a part of this group. It's very positive and, da-da-da-da-da. And they're awesome. It's like 2,900 people and they're amazing. They're positive. And I'm not saying there's still not people that are confused and whatever. But the good thing is that the owners of that group, Dee and Pinicky and everybody else who are like the admins and Susan Lawrence, they do not allow the garbage. They don't. They set the tone as leaders. They're like, listen, if you're coming in here asking questions about this wallet and da-da-da-da-da, go to technical training. We are here to reinforce each other. We are here to stay positive. We are here to make sure that we're sharing information about what's happening on the network. We are not here to bitch and complain. There's another Hyperverse group that everybody's in there just bitching and complaining, and they're all in their little circle together, and they're all cheering each other. This company sucks. Everything sucks. Da 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 da. And that's literally all they do all day. It's the funniest thing. That's literally what they do all day. There was someone that said, I can't believe that anybody in Hyperverse would ever invite somebody to Hypernation, especially when they haven't given us our 1X back. And I'm like, okay, so basically because people are not in your attitude, you don't understand why anybody else would be happy? Like, really? But yet you're really sitting there and expecting good things to happen to you when all you do is come into this group, and this is like one person. Every day they come in and it's something negative. Every day. Like without fail. This person has never come in and said, today is a good day. It's just a good day. Like happy morning to people. Good day, guys. Hope you have a great day. I know things aren't perfect, but you know what? Have a good day. Nope. They're like, I am determined. Like Brenda said, we are determined to make everybody as miserable as we are, because if y'all are in here being all happy-go-lucky and we haven't gotten our money back, and they think that the only people that are happy-go-lucky are the V5s and the people that have made money, which is absolutely not true. Absolutely not true. You know how many withdrawals I had from Hyperverse? 1. Before everything got shut down, because I was building my account. I at the time, I didn't even need to do a withdrawal. So when I did the withdrawal, I actually only did it because I was like, I just want to make sure that everything is set up and da-da-da-da-da. And I had 1 withdrawal go through and everything else was shut down. I didn't go out there and burn the house down. You have never seen me come on here and say, this company sucks. I'm not going to be in service to anybody. No, I've been in service to a lot of people, because I believe in this project. And you don't have to believe in it, but don't tear down the other people that do, like Brenda said. Be of service to people. How about instead of bitching and complaining, come in and try to just be of service. Try to do one thing every day where you are of service to another person and it doesn't, and you don't get anything back from it. Just try that for 30 days and see how your life changes. It's incredible. It's an amazing thing when you're positive. Number 5, effective leaders are transparent. They let people know what's happening. Keith has said, Brenda has said, we want to make sure that you guys at least get your 1 times back. We let the community managers know. We let them know to the best of our abilities, the things that we can. What we have control and power over is what we're going to manage. We can't manage anything else. That's being transparent. Keith is not sitting here telling us a whole bunch of crap about, oh, well, you know, by this date and by that date. No, he's like, look, this is the time frame they gave us. I have the same information that you guys do. I'm giving you the same information that I have, and that's all he can do. And continue to be the incredible leader that he is, and he shows up every Saturday. He shows up every Saturday. Number 6, effective leaders create a path. Great leaders create a pathway devoid of obstacles that could impede their team's progress. Question for you, and this is obviously rhetorical. For those of you that are leaders or have teams, what paths have you created for your teams lately? What have you done for your team lately to ensure that they are staying as positive as they possibly can in this time of crypto winter? What have you done? Because if you haven't done anything for your team, if you're not staying plugged in with them, if they don't know what's going on, if you're not reaching out to them and just updating them and saying, guys, we have a Telegram group. I'm going to send you some positive videos. I'm going to send you some videos on just like managing your emotions and controlling your mind. And I want you guys to start doing some basic meditation, 5-10 minutes in the morning every day, just to make sure you're staying in a positive place. All of that stuff. If you're not doing that, then you're not being an effective leader. Because you have to create a path for your team. People, we don't all know it all. I don't know it all. But what I do understand is that me being negative is definitely not going to help anything. It never does. I've never worked at a company, at a Fortune 500 company, and seen things falling apart in the company and seen somebody sitting there being a negative Nancy or whatever they call it in a boardroom saying, well, that's not going to work. And that's not going to work. You know what happens to those people? They get fired. They get fired. Because leaders, companies, CEOs do not want people when the house is burning down. They don't want people sitting around there and downplaying every suggestion that people are coming up with. Some of the suggestions are not going to work, but at least you have people trying. At least there's people showing up. So what are you doing to help make that way, that path for your team to just show up? Even if it's like a once a month call that you do right now and you're like, guys, once a week, every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever that is, we're just going to get together. We're going to have a pizza party, a virtual pizza party. And we're just going to just make sure that we're all good. It's not even about hyper. I just want, as a human being, as your leader, I give a crap about you. And I just want to make sure that you're good. How many of us have done that? And some of us have done that with select people, and I get it. But if you still have people on your team who are still invested, who are still here, have you done that with everybody? And again, this is constructive criticism. And if you as a leader, if you're sitting here and listen, I saw the numbers go down when I started talking. Let me tell you, there are people that have no backbone whatsoever. The moment that someone starts telling them something they don't want to hear, they're like, I'm out of here. I don't want to hear this. And that lets you know who people are. If someone does not want to hear constructive criticism, they have zero self-awareness. And let me tell you, the same way that people are showing up in this business is the same way they're showing up in their lives. The people who don't want to hear it, the people who only want to come and only be positive and only hear the happy-go-lucky stuff, but they don't want to hear the, ooh, I got to work on myself. Like, okay, I got some areas of opportunity. All right. Yeah, that hurt a little bit, but you know what? All right, cool. All right. Maybe I haven't been doing my best. Maybe there's ways that I could show up. Those are the people that are the real ones. Those are the people that are willing to grow. But if all you want to do is be happy and hear positive things and hear what you want to hear, but when someone is lovingly telling you, you have some areas of opportunity in your body language, in your communication, in your energy, in how you're showing up, and you don't want to hear it because you ain't getting your money, I really hope that gives you some level of awareness that maybe you have some things that you got to work on. Just maybe. Just a thought. Just a thought. Number 7, effective leaders borrow best practices. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're really not, because there's no need to. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. What you do is you go to people that are doing it really well, and you sit and you listen and you learn and you ask the right questions and you say, I'm in one group and this is how we operate, but man, I was invited to this other group and they do some really cool things just to keep everybody motivated and keep everybody plugged in. And I really like that. So I'm going to borrow some of those practices and I'm going to implement that on my team. We borrow best practices. We don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time. There's no need to. Trainings are trainings are trainings are trainings. I bet you that the people that were in the ACN business and all of the other businesses, Avon, Amway, everything, I bet you if you were to ask a lot of those people, like, is training, they're like, yeah, for the most part. I mean, different products and, but training is training. So you plug in and you're not reinventing the wheel. Every network marketing business knows you got to keep people plugged in. And you only do that by holding leadership trainings and technical trainings and making sure that you provide the space for people to make the decision whether they want to plug in or not. Now, ultimately, it's their decision. To the people that left, it's their decision. You're not responsible for that. All you can do is create the space and say, I am here and I am willing to serve. Anybody that chooses to come and learn from me, I am more than willing to help you. I'm not going to answer questions that you should know or that you can get from other resources. I'm not going to do that because I have boundaries, but I will help you if there's things that you're still stuck on, or if you're like, okay, I've done as much as I know to do, and now I don't know what else to do. But at least I know you tried. At least I know you tried. At least I can say that you made an effort. You would not believe how many people will message all of us leaders. It's not just myself. And they will ask us things. And I look at the messages and I'm like, did you even try? Like the question that you're asking me is something that I know is covered in technical training because I'm in technical training on Sundays. So I'm just like, there's a part of me that's like, did you even try? Did you try to go to training? Did you go back into your back office if you couldn't make training? Did you listen to the recordings? Like, there's so many of us that don't do that. But we want the answer now, and we don't want to have to do, we don't want to do the gritty work. We want to find a person and be like, you give me the answers, because I don't want to go back and have to listen to a whole train and have to skip through it. I don't want to do all that. So listen, it's just easier for me to just find a person who really looks like they know their stuff and go to that person and be like, hey, can you help me do a deposit? Can you help me transfer my HB? Can you help me do a withdrawal? And you're like, no, go to technical training. That's what it's there for. I'm not here for that. If I were to stop what I'm doing to answer everybody that asks me a technical question, I would never get any work done. I would never be able to coach people. I would never be able to do what I get to do. So you have, as a leader, you have to put boundaries in place. And this is going to be hard for the people that are here just to Mako and Pre, because the people that are here to Mako and Pre, they're the suckerfish. And I'm going to explain what a suckerfish is in a minute, right? There are sharks and whales, and then there are suckerfish. And I'll explain that in a minute. Number 8, effective leaders hire well. This is huge. If a lot of us, when Hyper was first going on, we just brought in anybody. Like, we were just like, listen, you can make this money. You could do this. Look at what I did. Da 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 da. Yeah, it's this crypto blockchain thing, but don't worry about it. You'll figure that out. But look at what you can do. And that's what a lot of us did. And we didn't stop to think about, does this person have emotional intelligence? Is this person do they have like investments in their own life? Like, are they used to volatility? Do they know how the markets work? Is there any level of like basic education when it comes to just understanding how the financial markets work, the things that affect the financial markets, and what could potentially, affect their it's not an investment, but their membership? Like, what are the things that could impact the assets that they have? A lot of us didn't do that. And so this is a learning opportunity. Who are you recruiting on your teams? Who are you recruiting on your teams? Are you recruiting just anybody because you're trying to make everybody in your family rich, even though there's people that have no emotional intelligence and they're completely fear adverse, they're completely risk adverse? I have learned from this experience, I don't want anybody on my team who's completely risk adverse, because if you're risk adverse, you are going to panic and have anxiety attacks every time you see something happen. And quite frankly, it is exhausting as a leader to have to manage that. It is exhausting having to manage people's emotions because they don't understand how markets work. And now they're coming to you and they're like, but I don't understand. And I'm losing everything and I'm not going to have and it's like, but who told you to take out your whole life savings? Like, honestly, I'm not trying to be mean. Who told you to do that? And now you're making it someone else's problem because the market is doing what it does. And now you're panicking because you're like, my whole life, I can't tell you how many times I see that in a chat. And I'm just like, I don't want to be mean because I'm like, if I put that in writing, it's not going to come out right. It's just not. But I'm being honest. Nobody told you to take out your life savings, respectfully. Even an accredited investor wouldn't tell you to do that. So if you decided to do that, that is a choice that you made, and you have to own that. You have to own that. You can't go through life blaming everybody else or saying, well, the reason I did it was because things were so good back then. And if things would just only go back to the way they were, that's not the lesson. The lesson is to be cautious, to always do your due diligence. You don't have to take out everything and put it in there. You have pots of money in multiple places. You have that's why even in the accredited world, we call it having a balanced portfolio. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. No one does that. Like, not even on the regulated side, nobody does that. So if you did that, I'm not unempathetic. I'm not sitting here saying, well, you're shit out of luck. I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying own it. Own the decisions that you made. Don't make it, because if you can't do that, you will not be able to move forward. Because what's going to happen is every time something happens, you're going to blame everything else. And again, I promise you that if you do this in Hyperverse, you most likely do this in other areas of your life. You most likely don't take responsibility in some other area of your life. And you blame you allow other people to make decisions so you don't have to make the decision. So then when everything falls apart, you don't have to own it. It's like, well, you made that decision, so you got to do that. Leaders, you got to understand who those people are. You got to know who those people are before you recruit them on your team. You don't want somebody on your team. Trust me. Trust me, I am saving a lot of you right now for this new act as we move into the Hypernation and you think about the people that you're bringing onto your team. Please vet your people correctly. Use your discernment from the lessons that you learned and the things that you saw from a lot of people's behavior. Take all of that and apply it to your new life and make better decisions about who you recruit on your team. You got to have people that are truly down for the cause. You got to have people that really understand financial markets and how these vehicles work. And then lastly, so all of that led up to the slide that Dr. J wanted me to say, which is one of the hardest things for a lot of leaders to do, which is leave people behind. You got to cut some people off. Dr. J calls it the shaking of the, I'll let her say it because she says it better than I do, but it's like the shaking of the trees or the pruning season. Right? You ever see a landscaper go in and like prune the bushes and just like shape everything and make sure and cut off the dead leaves and cut off the dead branches. And if they see a rotting root, they're like, well, we may have to take down the whole tree if that's the case, because it's going to destroy the whole tree. You got to do that work right now. You got to do some real pruning work on your teams. So again, the people that just want to mako and they're out of here because they're not trying to hear this. They don't like it because they know who they are. Trust me, they know who they are. They're like, I ain't trying to hear this. I ain't trying to hear nobody tell me about myself. I'm going to get out. But for those of you that are leaders that are still here, that are still plugged in, that really want to do the work, you really are committed to doing the work. And this is not, I don't care if you don't come to my training program. Go to any training program. I just want you to do the work. That's all I want. For those of you that are truly leaders, and listen, out of the 942 people that are on this call or on this live on this session here, maybe a fraction, maybe not less than a quarter of you are true leaders, truly. The rest of you are just here for y'all are here for the ride. You're just here to mako. But for those of you that are committed, you're like, Whitney, I spend money on personal development. I know what it is. I'm willing to put in the work. I'm willing to do whatever I got to do. I'm going to find a coach or a training program. Go on Eventbrite. Go on Google. Find somebody that you resonate with and do the self-awareness work on yourself. The points that Brenda Chunga was talking about, that is real. Those are actually points that I have in my training that we'll be doing next Friday on self-awareness, because being self-aware is a part of being a leader. And if you are not self-aware, if you do not know how you show up in the world, what your negative thinking habits are, what your self-sabotaging behaviors are, you have no idea when you're triggered by things. You got to have your personal board. You got to have your team around you, people that you trust to tell you the very hard things that you don't want to hear about yourself, but you got to trust somebody to tell you. I have my personal board. I have people in my life that tell me things that I do not want to hear. And it sucks. It sucks. It hurts. It's not a good, it does, like, you know that they love you and you know that they're telling you things in love, but it doesn't feel good. It never feels good to hear things about yourself that you're like, oh yeah, I do that. And it's not cute. But sometimes that's what you need. You got to get kicked in the butt. You got to have somebody that loves you enough to tell you the truth about yourself. I told you guys this in another training. The highest form of love is correction. You got to be willing to accept that correction from people. And for those of you that are effective leaders, you don't hold the bus for anybody that's not willing to come along for the ride. Okay, no matter how carefully you recruit your team, some people will be unable to evolve as your company grows and addresses new challenges. And although it is painful, successful leaders must leave some people behind. It is never easy to sever ties with people, whether it's team members, employees, whether you're doing this in your corporate job, whether you're doing this maybe in your house of worship, wherever that is for you. It's never easy to cut people off. But sometimes you have to, okay? Even the people that are not doing well, you know they're not doing well. And you're like, oh, but I don't want to do that. And it's confrontation and, oh, it's going to create a conflict. We talk about that in my training class. We're going to do a whole class on conflict resolution, on knowing how to do conflict in a healthy way, because there's a lot of people that hate conflict. They're like, Whitney, I don't want to have that conversation. These people are crazy. I know they are. I know. Trust me. I know, but if you don't know how to do healthy conflict, if you don't know how to have difficult conversations, you cannot be an effective leader. And sometimes those difficult conversations are, guys, this is the direction we're moving. And you know what? You're just not here yet. And when you're ready to jump back on this train and get back on board with us, we will be here. We will invite you back into the team with loving open arms. But right now, where we're going, we can't afford to have anybody hold us back. Successful organizations seldom have the luxury to throttle back their growth to accommodate struggling team members, employees, people, period. What company do you know where someone is not performing well that they still keep their job? You guys know this. Every company goes through performance reviews twice a year. You go through it mid-year and you go through it at the end of the year. You give people a chance at mid-year to make if you see things that you don't like, you give people the chance at mid-year to make decisions and to make choices. You tell them the things that they need to fix. By the end of the year, if they haven't fixed those things, guess what? They're gone, period. Because companies are not going to sit there and be like, well, let's just give them another chance. Let's send them to another training. Let's do this. They're like, no, you're a grown-ass person. If we told you the things that you need to fix, we gave you a performance improvement plan, a PIP, and we said, these are the things that you need to work on, and you decided not to do those things, it's not the company's fault. They're like, hey, we did our part. We gave you ample opportunities. We provided you with training. We sent you to training. We poured into you as much as we could. You made the decision that you were not going to rise up to the occasion. That is a choice that you made. We don't think as a company that you're a bad person, that you're evil, that you're whatless. No, we just say that maybe this is not a good fit for you. That's corporate language. This is just not a good fit for you. And it's the same thing in hyper. For some of you leaders, you need to have those conversations with certain team members. Maybe this is just not a good fit for you. Maybe once you get your 1X, you just exit and that's cool. Like, I'm not going to argue with you. We're not going to talk about yellow boxes. We're not going to talk about, no, we're just, I'm going to support you. You're going to get your 1X. Have a great life. I wish you the best. I wish you nothing but success in your future endeavors. And we keep it moving because we don't have time any longer. None of us are guaranteed anything. There was someone in one of the groups that I'm in that recently passed away. There was a Hyperverse member that recently passed away. None of us are guaranteed anything. And we have to stop acting as if, well, you know, I ain't going nowhere until they give me my money back and da-da-da. Really? Instead of learning the things that you need to learn in this period of time. So while you're waiting for your money to come in, what are you doing to work on yourself? What are the things that you're doing to make sure that you are as whole and healthy as a human being as you can be? Not just for your hyper team or whatever, but for yourself, for your family, for your business, just for you. This is about you. And so many of us don't want to invest in ourselves. Like we're not interested in hearing the things that we need to be told about our behavior. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to change those things. We want our money, we want it now, and we want what we want. And you are not going to get what you want with that attitude. You're not. Your aptitude and your attitude determine your altitude. They really do. And if you come in with a nasty attitude because you're angry, you're frustrated, and now it's all these other things in your life, and it's just you've amassed it into hyper, and you come here to take your frustrations out on everybody because you don't have anybody at home that wants to listen to you. You don't have anybody in your life that wants to listen to you because you show up the same way. People don't want to hear it. Respectfully, people don't want to hear people being negative all the time. They're like, nah, like after a while, you just tune it out. You're like, you know what? Like everybody has problems. Everybody has stuff going on. You don't know what's going on in anybody else's life, but yet you think that your problems are worse than anybody else's. Look at all the people in here that don't talk about their stuff, don't tell you what their personal issues are. There are people in here going through real problems in life. And you will never hear them come on and bash the company or talk about it because they're like, you know what? What point does that make? How about I focus on gratitude? How about I focus on waking up this morning and the fact that I had internet to be able to join this call and the fact that I can be around amazing people who are all trying to do the same thing and to know that we have over 1,000 people on the call, over 500 or whatever in the overflow. And all of us are here for a common goal, which is to grow ourselves, to be better versions of who we were than we were yesterday. Every day you should be doing one small thing to improve who you are as an individual or to become aware of how you're showing up in the world. And I can promise you, like I said, if this is how you show up in hyper, this is how you show up in your life. And it's why your life is the way that it is, because you keep thinking it's hyper or it's your job or it's the church or it's this. And you refuse to take any responsibility for your actions, how you show up, your stinking thinking, your negative habits. And those are all things you can fix. Those are all things you can change. You are not your behaviors. I do not ascribe people to their behaviors. I can separate people's behaviors from people. You are not whatless. Your behaviors may be whatless, but you are not whatless. You're a child of God. Whether you believe in God or not, it doesn't even matter. You're still a child of God. Daddy doesn't care whether you believe in him or not. He knows who he is. He don't need you to figure it out. He knows who he is. And he knows the plans that he has for your life. He knows the good things he put in store for you. And very lastly, because I know I've gone over time, and Dee, you're amazing because you didn't even give me the 5-minute thing that you said you were going to give me. And I know I'm over time, but I want to give you guys this last thing. Do you know what a suckerfish is? SUCKERFISH. Look it up. It's called a remora, REMORA, remora. Remora is a Latin word and it means delay. And let me tell you what a suckerfish is. You ever see like whales and sharks, and they have those little fish that like swim under them or on top of them or beside them? And it's not just whales and sharks, but I'm just using that as an example because usually when you see whales and sharks, you always see those little fish. And I remember one day I loved like Animal Planet, National Geographic, Discovery. I'm that person. So one day I was watching this National Geographic, and they were talking about these suckerfish, and they were like, you know, suckerfish are these little fish that they swim around big animals. They attach themselves to these whales and these sharks because they know that nobody's coming after the whale. The whale is the biggest thing in the ocean. Ain't nobody coming after a whale. When is the last time that you heard of a animal actually attacking a whale? Very rarely happens. Animals are smart. They know. They're like, nah, I ain't messing with that. And sharks are sharks. Sharks don't sleep. Literally, they don't sleep. They're alive all the time. They're awake all the time. So what suckerfish do is they attach themselves to these big animals because they know that the big animal is going to get some food. he can't survive or she can't survive without food. So I know at some point they're going to get some food. And all I'm going to do is just kind of tag along for the ride and eat whatever little things drop out of their mouth, or I might even go into their mouth and eat the little crumbs on their mouth. But I'm going to somehow attach myself to this big whale. And it's not that I can't fish. It's not that I can't swim on my own. Suckerfish can completely swim on their own. They can fish on their own. They can hunt on their own. They are capable animals. But when they see a whale, they're like, why would I go put all that effort instead of just hitching a ride with this dude when I know he's guaranteed food? Because he can't survive or she can't survive without food. Don't be a suckerfish. Don't just attach yourself to people and just ride along and don't want to do anything and don't want to plug in and don't want to come to training, but you want to get all the glory, you want to get all the this, you want to come into training, you want to come into the chat and be like, yeah, rah, 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 but you're really not actually doing the work. Don't be a suckerfish. It's not cute. And suckerfish drag, they actually slow down the whales. They slow down the sharks. They can actually attach to humans. They can attach to boats. They attach to anything that is bigger than themselves that they think is going to hitch them a free ride to where they want to be. It's an amazing analogy for life. Do not be a suckerfish. Be a whale, be a shark. Don't be one of these people that just attaches yourself to people because you think, oh, well, if I know Keith, Keith knows what's going on and Keith is this and I can drop Keith's name. What does that mean for you? If you're not doing the work on yourself, what does it mean for you to know Keith? How is Keith going to help you in your business? Because unless he's out there doing the work for you, which I know he damn sure is not, it still doesn't matter whether you know him or not. So don't just attach yourself to people for the sake of saying, I know this person or this person is doing this. Put yourself in position to be around people who you can learn from and grow from, but you got to do the work yourself. You got to do your part. There's nothing wrong with you surrounding yourself with people that are smarter than you, better than you. Of course, that's what you want to do. But what you don't want, what you want to be aware of and what you want to be careful of is becoming a suckerfish, where you're not really trying to do things for yourself. You're not really trying to feed or fend for yourself. You're just like, nah, I'm just going to ride this wave. I'm just going to, because they are doing this, so I'm going to do this too. Learn for yourself. Take accountability and responsibility for your life, for the decisions that you've made. I know I gave you guys some really tough love. And I know there's a lot of people that were like, I am not here for this. And that's okay. For the 916 of you that are still on this call that listen to what I said, I thank you for having the maturity and the emotional intelligence to be able to hear what I'm saying without running away. That is a sign of growth. If you are someone that was able to listen to what I said and you didn't take it personally, you didn't sit there in your emotions like, oh, she's talking to me. Oh, if you were able to just hear what I said, because I don't know all 915 people on this call, how could I possibly be talking about you? I may not even know you. But if I'm saying stuff that's triggering you, maybe that's a sign that you got some areas of opportunity to work on. Maybe that's a sign that there's maybe some things in yourself that you're like, oh, I wasn't aware of that. Ooh, yeah, I might have done some of that. And it's okay if I did, because that's how I learn. I'm not a bad person. None of you are bad people. We are all incredible human beings. Some of us just need some tough love every once in a while. You can't always come on here and be happy, happy, joy, joy. Sometimes you need a big sister or a big brother to tell you the things about yourself that you need to learn and you need to fix up. We say that in the Caribbean, you need to fix up. Real talks. Some of y'all really need to fix up because the way that you're showing up, the things that you're doing, it's just not even appropriate. And if I just think about, imagine if before you send a message to somebody, I want you to think about this. If 10 people were sending you that message, how would you feel? So before you send a message to a leader, asking them for help, asking them for what, read your message and then ask yourself, if 10 people were sending me this message, how would I feel? Because I think a lot of you think so singularly, you think about yourself and you don't realize that a lot of us receive your message times 20. And it's overwhelming. It's like, wait, I'm not even your upline. Like, I don't know how to fix these problems for you. I can give you some advice. I can maybe try to, but imagine if you were receiving that message from a multitude of people. How would it make you feel? How would that make you feel? And maybe if you stop and you do that, maybe that will give you just a little bit of awareness to be like, is there anything more that I could have done before I send this message? Is there anything more I could have done? And if there truly isn't, then send your message, shoot your shot. No worries. But I will tell you, sometimes, man, I look at these messages and I'm just like, nah. I'm just like, not doing it. Because if I start responding to that, then remember, as leaders, you teach people how to treat you. I was saying this to the group yesterday. You teach people how to treat you. You train people how to treat you. When you accept certain behavior from people, they then know that they can do that to you. Trust me, I had a situation this week where someone tried to go off on me about something. And I was just like, no, I'm not going to tolerate that. I don't tolerate disrespect from anybody. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're paying me. That doesn't mean anything. I'll happily give you back your money because your money is not worth disrespect to me. And especially when you're not even right about the things that you're claiming. So do not accept people's bad behavior. Check them on it. It doesn't mean they're bad people. It's just their behavior is not acceptable. And sometimes people need to be checked on their behavior because if they think that they can get away with it, it's like kids. Kids are going to test the boundaries. They're going to do dumb things and see what they can get away with. And if they know they can get away with it, they're going to continue to do it. So teach people how to treat you. Set boundaries. If you want to know how to do that, you can come to my class. If you don't want to come to my class, there's Dr. J, there's Valerie A. Campbell. There's other people in here that are incredible coaches. You can go online and find a coaching I don't care what you do, but you need to learn self-awareness. We all do. I am doing that work every day. This is not a me versus you thing. This is an us thing. We are a family, whether you like it or not. And sometimes you like people in your family and sometimes they do dumb things that makes you crazy, but you still love them and you still want the best for them, which is why you say, yo, you got to fix up. You can't be coming in here looking all raggedy. You can't be just showing up however you want to show up. You have to do the work. And if someone loves you enough to tell you things about yourself that you don't like, but that you need to hear, don't be mad at that person. Don't be mad at them. Don't try to make them the issue. Stop and look at yourself. Stop and take a look and say, what do I need to fix in myself? What are my areas of opportunity? And if you think you have no areas of opportunity, then that's the problem. Because everybody does. Everybody has areas of opportunity. You're never perfect. You're never going to get it right. You're always going to be working on yourself, but you have to learn how to start somewhere. And it starts with someone giving you constructive feedback and you being able to take that, not make it personal, not make it all that stuff, and just come back and say, all right, I got to do the work. And I'm committed to doing the work. So that's it from me. I know I went over time. I am so sorry. I'm going to try to read everything. I have not been paying attention to the chat whatsoever. Yeah, the suckerfish, the permanent hitchhikers of life. Talk about it, Steph B. Don't be a suckerfish. I want everyone to remember that. Do not be a suckerfish. Go and look it up. They attach their little tentacles on these big whales and they just ride. They just come along for the ride. And that's not what you want. You want people on your team who are really going to be in for the long haul. Okay. I love you guys. I know it doesn't feel like it right now, but I promise you, I love you guys. I'm saying this in love. And for those of you that could be emotionally mature to handle it, I appreciate you. I really do. So that's me.
Whitney. Brilliant. Dale, can you get us back on Spotlight, please? Because I think it's...
Brenda, I would love to... If I could hear, I would love your feedback, Brenda, on what I just said, because I think that you were saying so many of the things that I teach in my class, and I know you get it, but how do you feel about that? Do you, like, honestly, just kind of coming back from vacation and what's going on? What are your thoughts? I would love to hear it.
Everything was on point. Let me see if I can, where's the spotlight?
Let me do it. Let me spotlight everyone.
Everything was on point with me. I'm listening to you and I'm like, this woman got it. She got it. The one part when you first got on, say, I disagree with Brenda and Keith, what I wanted you to understand is that we were being lovingly saying.
I know. Oh, I know. And that's why I came in with the hammer.
When you kiss at the beginning, it was kiss, kiss, kiss from up all for like an hour. And I'm so happy you came on just, some tough love, because it can't be kissed for 2 hours. I mean, we only lost what, 10%. We were like 95%.
You saw that, right? You saw that. They were like, nope, not trying to hear it.
5% had dropped off, so that's brilliant. And we're still at 90% or just under 90%. That tells you that training today was immense, ladies. Absolutely outstanding. So we did the kiss, and then Whitney did the kick, and we're going to do the kiss right now again. Some of you will get there if you're into personal development. But the bottom line is you both were absolutely awesome today. I am in awe of your presence. Your training is brilliant, and thank you for stepping up as well. I am absolutely certain that those that took notes today, listened, really absorbed what you guys were covering today, will leave this call today and say, wow, we're in good hands. Our leadership is in the right place, mindset is fine, and we're in good hands. And all we have to do now is believe and have faith. That's it. That's all we're asking.
Exactly.
And as you said, Whitney, you've got to do the do. You can't just be a sucker fish. I love that.
Brittany brought the heat, right? She brought the heat, but it was but people need to hear that. Again, I went through that. That's why I'm so big on personal development as well, because you don't know what you don't know. Exactly.
So
even if information hurts, it just means that you can relate and you have opportunity for growth.
Exactly.
That's all. Thank you for the training. That was
Thank
awesome.
you both. Brilliant today. Absolutely outstanding. I want to thank Dale and Jackie for co-hosting in the background. Susan as well. Thank you everyone for your input today. Again, this one is right up there with the best of the best in terms of training, guys. Please, we're going to obviously have the recordings available tomorrow. If you've missed bits of this today, jump back on the recording, have a listen to it. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes of intense training. And again, you'll love it. Second time, third time around, it'll even sound even better. What I want to do right now is to say goodbye to everybody. Thank you, you guys. You were absolutely fabulous today. Thank you. I want to thank each and every one of you. Wow, we just 85% still just on Zoom, not to mention the overflow, which probably has, a few hundred on that as well. So absolutely brilliant. It is the food for you guys to enjoy for the rest of the week. You've been given breakfast, lunch, and dinner all at the same time. Enjoy it and come back next week. Don't forget, we've got technical training tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's so important. I get a lot of questions and I don't know what to do. I know what you have to do. You've got to go to technical training. I don't know what this means. I don't know what that means. I say to you, even I've got to go to technical training, and even I've got to pick up on a lot of new terminology and a lot of new things. So if I've got to go to technical training, you should at least consider going to technical training, at least one live session. I want to thank Anakem and Valerie this morning for knocking out training, and Susan as well this morning. We had over 500-600 on that call this morning. Tomorrow we'll max out, we'll have 1,000 to 2,000 on technical training tomorrow. Guys, this is it. We have to learn some new shit. Sorry, but we have to learn some new stuff, and we have to do that by attending live session, asking questions, and going over our notes. I want to thank you both. Brilliant. Time for us to lock off. But what I want to do right now is to put us all on gallery mode. Dale, do you want to put it on gallery? Show us your NFTs, everyone. And as we say goodbye to you, you can say goodbye to one another. Dale, do you want to put it on gallery, or shall I do it? Yep, on gallery mode. Let me do it. Let's see.
I just wanted to say really quickly, if I can just say this really quickly, because a lot of you guys will message me in the chat and you'll say, hey, I want to come to training, or how do I get in touch with you? Please reach out to me on Telegram. I'm there at Coach Whitney Smart, I think is my Telegram. You can reach out to me in the chat here quickly before we close off. If you want, send me your phone number, your email, and your full name, please, because some of y'all be sending me some weird stuff and it bounces back and I can't call you and all kinds of stuff. Send it to me. I will save the chat and I will reach out to you if you want to join training and be a part of what we're doing in building real leaders, because it's real. I promise you, we're doing a good job over there. So
Listen,
thank
Whitney,
you
I want to
guys for
thank
the
you, because I know
support.
you are a professional. This is what you do for a living, and just to extend your knowledge and experience to our membership is, as I said, like, you know,
Of course.
it's
And again,
incredible.
we're a family. Like, I
Thank
really
you,
want to
thank
say
you,
that
thank
we are
you.
a family. This is not about siloing out people. We are an incredible family. I want to help those who want to help themselves. I want to help those who want to help themselves. And I want to help people that really want to do the work. And I'll tell you, out of all the people that reach out to me, there's going to be a very small few of you that actually attend. And that's okay. That's okay. Just be aware. Go and do the training somewhere, wherever you can find it. If money is a problem, go and find a free program. If there's any free programs, it doesn't matter. Find a way to plug in and do the work. That's what Brenda's asking. That's what Keith is asking. That's what I'm asking. We are here to support you in the ways that we can, but we can't do everything. We need you guys to help us. We need you guys to take some of the reins and do some of that work. And then when you come to us, it's like, guys, this is everything I've done. I've done everything I could. Now what do I do? And then we can say, okay, now we can work with something, because you've done the work, you've done everything, and you hit a roadblock. And this is where leaders can now come and take you to that next level. It's just hard to prioritize your time and manage your time when people are coming and asking you basic things that it's like, guys, just go to training. If you went to technical training, a lot of these answers would be there. And yet you're coming to a whole Keith or a whole me or a whole Brenda or a whole Jackie. And you're like, how do I do a withdrawal? And it's like, really? I love you, but really? So that's all I'm saying. It's said in love, truly. It's not to shame anybody. I'm not about that life, but I really just want you guys to have self-awareness. I want us all to work on our self-awareness every day, to be better versions of who we were, so we can show up as the best versions of ourselves. Okay. So I love you guys sincerely. Thank you, Mr. Williams. You're amazing. Listen, when you are ready to go on vacation, when you are ready, you let us know, and we got this. You so deserve some time away. Like, truly. No. You deserve like 2 full weeks, not weekends, because you be doing stuff in the week. I'm talking about 2 full weeks, like gone. Like, don't check in, don't email nobody. Be with your family, eat some good ass food, be on the beach, whatever it is.
Just those days, Whitney, they were lovely.
Yeah, you deserve that. Mr. Williams, you deserve that. You really do.
Thank you so much.
You really do.
I want to say thank you for everything today. You guys were absolutely awesome. Your input was brilliant. I'm absolutely positive that those that stay till the end will have got something from today's training, even one golden nugget. Now, what I'd like to do right now is that if your profile pic is an NFT, please raise your hand, switch your camera off. I want us to be able to scroll through the gallery and see how many have got NFTs up. And that's your profile pic. Already my front screen's already got bundles, tons. Raise your hand so it goes on the front screen. Switch your camera off so we can see. If you've got it in your background, brilliant, then we can see you and your NFT. Absolutely fabulous, guys. Look at this. Just scroll through and see how many NFTs are on the profile pics today. Absolutely brilliant to see. Well, that's the end of training today. I want to say thank you to Bitcoin Beauty, Brenda Chunga, aka Bitcoin Beauty. I want to also say thank you to Whitney Smart, the one and only. I have to call her literally the mentor of mentors. She's brilliant. I want to say thank you all for attending leadership today. It's been brilliant. We always have to try and raise the bar every single week. I hope you got something from today's training. As we say goodbye to you, you guys can say goodbye to one another. Have a fabulous day, an outstanding week, and see you again next week on Leadership. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye-bye now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.